So the three concepts I'm going to use to describe this photograph are vantage point, focus, and time. So I'll start with vantage point. It appears to me that the photographer had a very low vantage point to make this photograph. In fact, it looks like the photographer set his or her camera directly on the ground. And it also appears that the photographer was fairly close to the kind of main subject, depicted subject in the scene, which is what looks like a tricycle here. And then it looks like there is, the tricycle is on, a sidewalk is what it looks like to me, and then there's a little bit of grass, and then, kind of a suburban street here, and then the houses in the background. So, fairly close to the tricycle, and then including some depth in the scene with the houses across the street here. In terms of focus, what I see here is that everything in the scene is sharp. So I would describe this as a large depth of field. There's a little bit out of focus here in the foreground, but for the most part, everything from foreground, especially where this where it looks like the plane of focus was on this tricycle, and all the way to the back, it looks like it's sharp, so a large depth of field. And what this does in terms of our perception is it really emphasizes the kind of looming nature of this tricycle. And it kind of plays with our perception a little bit because the tricycle is just as sharp. It looks like it's just as sharp as the background, and there's really a sense of flatness here. So, a sense that this three-dimensional space has been compressed into 2 dimensions, which is really what's causing that sort of optical illusion of this tricycle looking much, much bigger than it really is. The third concept I wanted to use to describe this image is still time. This really appears to be a scene that could have lasted many minutes, especially since there's nothing moving in the scene. Everything is very still. We don't have a sense of, a fast shutter speed that froze a moment in time. This really is a very still scene. It's very static, and the framing and the framing really contributes to that feeling, and that feeling of the content is at rest and it's going to remain at rest. That this scene would look this way kind of forever is the feeling we get. So this is definitely an example of still time.